Hey guys, and welcome to Console's Summer Release webinar. I'm Matt McGowan. I'm the Chief Operating Officer here at Console, and with me I have Court.
Hello.
Who's our Head of Growth, and if you can see her over here to my right, Em, who's our Senior Product Trainer. This is our 15th quarterly webinar. Really pleased that you guys could join us. We've got a lot to run through. It's been a really big 2021 for Console. Today we're going to run through disbursements, invoice arrears, commercial. We've had some updates to notes. We're going to touch on some of our workflows that we've tinkered around with and improved even further. Console awards and some of the exciting things we've got planned for our roadmap in 2022. Before I move on, normally TJ's here. He's our head of product. Unfortunately, couldn't make it today. So we're going to do our best to give you a really good overview of Console Cloud. Let's get into it. We're actually going to start with some of the, I guess they're the quality of life improvements. Well, actually, first, Court, do you want to just touch on what we promised that we would be building this year?
Absolutely. Thank you, Matt. So big year for Console this year. Obviously with the retirement of Gateway, that was a big piece to it, but we've also made some huge updates to Console Cloud as well. So just touching on our advanced trust accounting, we've had over 40 releases this year across this. And of course, I just want to call out the launch of commercial that we released this year, as well as updates to bills, bonds, and of course, statements. Moving on to our property management workflows, we've had over 30 releases this year as well. And I would be remiss if I didn't call out paperless inspections, which has been a huge feature for a lot of our agencies and something that we're really excited about. In addition to that, we also have updates or introduction of invoice arrears and updates to our lease renewals workflow as well. And finally, last but not least, we have some new features that we have released this year. We've had over 20 new releases in 2021. Of course, I've touched on commercial already. We've also introduced inbound SMS, which we know is something that you guys have been asking for quite some time. And we're really excited to launch that one. And the uptake has been fantastic so far. We also launched advertising or Porta Push, updates to Insights Pro, introduction of categories, which we know was a big feature in Gateway that we're excited to bring into Console Cloud. And we also introduced new pricing to make it more transparent. So you're only paying for the properties that you're actually managing. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like much on the screen sometimes, but these are really big features. We have the biggest development team in this space, and a big thank you to our customers who've been with us for multiple years and have seen the product really evolve quite rapidly over the last 3 years. So it's showtime. We're going to go and talk about some of our quality of life improvements that we've added. Notes, disbursements, invoice arrears, commercial, and go inspect. We probably actually won't be able to demonstrate our paperless inspections, unfortunately.
Technical difficulties.
We've had a little technical difficulties today. But I'm going to touch on a couple of these things. Before I get started, these are things that I can't demo, but we'll talk to. We've gone and improved the way, so these are the quality of life. We're going to talk about a few little things. They're the things that you've asked for. We've listened to your feedback and we've added them into the system. Now, some of these things will be there today, and some of these things, just because of where we are in December, we actually won't release until January when we come back, so that if there's any issues, we've got our team on hand to assist you. Now, the first one I'll talk to is statements. We've had a lot of feedback about the representation of ownership on statements. Last week, we released an update to that capability. And now on the ownership statement, you'll see the owner name. So if Court and I are the owners of a property, previously Court would get a statement. It would have her name. I'd get a statement and have my name. Now we'll have the ownership on there as Court and Matt. We'll both receive the same statement. Minor thing, but again, like something that you guys have asked for and we've gone and addressed. Second thing, being able to edit email templates. Now, this is one that we will be releasing early in January. And that really is the ability to edit that email that sends out the owner statement. It's been one of the things that we've had in our system for a very long time. It was one of the first things we built. And as you know, for people who've been on the platform for quite some time, you can see that we're coming back and, updating and upgrading parts of our system. And that's one. So that will be pulled out. It'll move into the template engine. You'll be able to update and send customized messages out on those emails to your owners as part of distributing that statement. A couple of other little things. Again, one that we've worked on that it will be released in the new year is the ability to send your statements to an external party, like your accountant. So you can see on the screen, without having to add another contact to the management agreement, you can actually nominate who will receive that statement in the future.
That's really handy, Matt.
Yeah, it's really cool too. And if you've got an owner with multiple properties, you can kind of tick multiple properties off there. Another little one, I'll just go back on this prototype. The ability to CC and BCC from the email. Again, like one of the features, we listen to you guys all the time. And we basically work from top to bottom on our request list, being able to CC and BCC emails, key capability, and again, something that we'll be releasing early in the new year because it'll miss our cutoff before we depart for Christmas. So see that one and get excited, guys. I think that's, and Court, just want to touch on some of the notes improvements we've made.
Absolutely, I would love to. So I know this is a small feature, but this is one that's been highly requested and we're really excited to introduce this one. So we've made some updates to our notes. You can now see notes across your tenants, your owners, and your contacts. And most importantly, you can now see your notes in Sales Trust, which is really exciting. I know you guys have been asking for this one for a while. So I'm just going to showcase some other updates that we've made to notes as well. Heading into tenants, I'm just going to click on a tenant here. You can see here we've got pin notes as well. So anything that is important. So if, on this particular tenant, you only want to speak to the son or what the access code into a house is, just the important things like that. You can also filter by the different types where the notes are going to show up. If I do head into the notes section now, this is the exciting thing that I'm, wanting to showcase to you guys, which is the ability to edit and delete notes. So if I was to go in and edit, it'll just pull this up in a little side drawer here. And I can also delete notes as well. All of these changes are saved in the change log as well. So you can keep track of all of this as changes are made. I know this is a little feature, but it's been one that's been highly requested from you guys, and we're really excited to release this for you. If you do have any questions about notes, our product owners are on standby in Q&A, so they're ready to answer any questions that you do have. Moving on down to disbursements, this is another highly requested feature, particularly from our larger agencies, and it's now the ability to have an approvals process from your property manager and your trust accountant just on disbursements. To start off with, I've got a couple of views and filters that I want to showcase to you guys. So now you can also sort by portfolio. So if I wanted to click on Aaron or Bob, I can then go and do that. So if you're managing properties by portfolio, it just makes it a little bit easier to make sure if you're the property manager that you're only looking at the ones you're actually managing. So having a look at balances here, I can also filter by this as well. And I've also got some additional filters here as well. So we've got the frequency that you can filter by, as well as amounts on fees, disbursements, and things like that. And we've also got the review status that you can filter by, which is what I'm just going to show you guys next, which showcases approved, rejected, or not reviewed yet, which is another really great way to keep track on where you're at with everything. So I'm just going to click on a couple of owners here, and the process for this one is I'm just going to go to the preview screen here. This will pull up a little side drawer, and we've made some updates to this as well. So now you can see the tenancy information, you've got the method of payment, if there's any banking details in here as well. And we've got a nice clean view of this disbursements preview. I can go through and reject or approve these. If I did hit reject, I can add in a little note here. So say it was like a duplicate or something like that, I can just add that in. Duplicate, yeah, if I can spell properly, there we go. And that'll just continue that one on. It'll skip you through to the next one. So say I just wanted to approve this one, it'll take me to the last one. I'm just going to hit approve. Groovy. So now that I'm done, it will show up these little statuses over the side here. And this is just another little handy way to keep track of where everything's at. You'll see here that all the ones that I've approved have a little green tick. However, Abigail, who I've rejected, it just shows up a little duplicate, which was the rejection reason that I have. Now, just to note again, it doesn't stop the trust accountant from making those disbursements. It's just a little additional feature for compliance and to make sure that you're dotting all the T's and crossing all the I's. That's all I have to showcase for disbursements now. I'm going to hand over to Em, but if you did have any questions, everyone's waiting in the wings for you.
Yeah, the bottom right-hand corner, guys, it's Q&A button.
Q&A
I forgot
button.
to choose that.
Hey, everybody. So I'm super excited to show you Invoice Arrears, and this is really exciting, especially for part of this automation. So some of you are probably already used to the automation workflow in our rent arrears workflow, and that's really helped a lot of our offices in improving those arrears percentages. So we've now improved it even further to include those invoices. So you can see here, I've currently got on the right-hand side my arrears automation, and this is for our rent arrears. So this is where I can actually set up my office procedures. So for those of you who are already using it, are probably familiar with this, but what I can do now is go over to invoices. So here I've got that same process. So where I scroll down, I can actually select if it's before the due date, just a nice friendly reminder to let them know that their invoice is coming up on the due day, and then after the fact. So it's really just following your own office procedures as well. So you can set this up to your own language with your templates and also to your own processes, which is so exciting. And it's nice to have this as part of our inclusive rent arrears workflow. So a really good part of this as well is being able to pause these rent arrears. So we all have those tenants that we don't want to message. I know I had some in my day, but if you do happen to speak to a client and they've already paid it, so you don't need to send them that automation, you can pause them as well. So you can see here, this is where I've now configured it. So if I jump back into my actual view, they're going to let me. So this is a prototype as well, guys. So you're seeing it here first, coming to you live. So here we've actually got the arrears at a glance as well. So you'll actually see that this whole view has changed to make it a lot cleaner, and it allows you to filter as well. So if I only want to see what rent is in arrears, then that's going to filter this view to show me that. Or perhaps I only want to see what invoices in arrears, or what current tenants I've got as paused. So if you have paused someone and you've forgotten to unpause them, or they're still in arrears, then you can go ahead and unpause them as well. And another neat little feature in here too is now the ability or the change in the view. So when I select one of these tenants in arrears, it's actually going to bring me a nice little side drawer here, and it's going to consolidate all of their information for me. So I can see their arrears history at a glance straight away. And if I scroll down, I can see what they're in arrears of and also the arrears details. So it's really neatened it up, and it's kept it consistent with what our other views are like as well. So our properties and things.
Yeah, thanks, Em. So we've obviously there's going to be some design changes that we're rolling out. We'll be running this program with our beta clients through January, and just depending on the feedback, we'll make a decision on when this part of the system will be available for general release. So it's really exciting. It's been number one on our feature upvote for the last 6 months. So again, we really thank everyone who's participated in giving us some direction on where to take this. And especially our beta clients who come on board and, trial it out before we actually release it to everybody else.
Yeah, so you may have also noticed here, we've got the download payment history option. So you can actually download that history straight away from this view as well. So you're not having to jump back into your tenant agreement anymore. You can do it right here and right now, right here, right now. So now we're going to jump over into commercial. So a couple of exciting new little features that have popped into commercial for us. So I'll just show you those and what they look like. So we do have invoice credits. So for any tenants, we know it's been a real turbulent time over the last couple of years, and you've probably had a lot of conversations with tenants and landlords about potential COVID relief and different other things that are coming up. Maybe you're increasing your services and you're offering a free period. So the invoice credits actually gives you that ability and makes it a lot easier and a lot smoother for you. So right here in the tenant agreement itself, I have my invoice credits available. So I can go ahead and just click add new. So this is where I'm choosing the tenancy and the type of credit. So let's just say I'm actually just offering this as a free service. And for the first 3 months, this particular tenant is going to get $200 off their rent. So this effective period will be for my next tenant invoice. So this is going to be from the 16th of December. Now, I might set this as a one-off, or I might want it as a recurring invoice credit. So that's where I can just simply tick that button and say every month for the next 3 months. And it might just be free period. You'll probably have a bit better wording than that, but that's also going to appear on the tenant's invoice as well as the owner statement. So it's nice and transparent. Everyone knows what it's for, and it's great for the tenant as well if they need to claim it on their accounting and whatever else. So now we can go ahead and click save, and you can see what's been scheduled and what's coming up. And as they start to happen, you'll see those statuses change as well. So once they're active, you'll see that status get updated too. And you can go ahead and edit any as well. So if maybe you've changed your mind or you've put it in wrong for whatever reason, you can go ahead and view it and then edit or delete it if needed. Another piece in the commercial sector is under edit. We now have the ability to enter a percentage for any actuals that a tenant's being charged. So if I say this tenant is particularly liable for 9% of any actuals that come in on, it could be water, warts, on water, or it might also be, let's just say, outgoings. So I can continue to add as many lines as needed here. And I'm going to go ahead and select save. So when I go through my bills process, that's actually going to let me know that this particular tenancy has 9% liability for that bill. So when I do on charge a bill through here, that's going to let me know. So let's just do a quick water bill, Walter Water. Here we go. And then as we scroll down, we might just want to say water. And we've got our, so this is also going to pick it up from the dissection itself. So this bill is going to be 200. So when I choose that on charge, I must have picked the wrong property. When I choose on charge, it's going to let me know that this one is going to be 9%. So I can go through that workflow itself. And once we've got a bill available, then obviously that makes it a nice clean slate for you as well. You can also do it after the fact. So if I've already raised the bill and I then need to do it later, I might not want to do it all in one, I can then go ahead and choose to on charge from here. And you'll be able to also see what's outstanding and what's been recouped from your tenancies. So if you don't want to process it until your tenant's paid, you can do that from this screen too. Awesome. Good stuff. Thanks, Em. Yeah, welcome.
So guys, a lot there to digest. There's been a lot of enhancements. Obviously, we're very excited about some of the changes we've made to cloud. One of the things we did want to demonstrate today that we won't be able to, unfortunately, is the end-to-end paperless inspections. So this is part of our new Console Go Inspect app, basically where you create the inspection, you finalize the inspection, and then you send it to your tenant. And in the tenant app, the tenant can go and basically review that inspection. I'm going to show you the output of what that looks like. Just because we can't share our phones, unfortunately, in this room, we'll have a look at where that actually goes and what the output is. So on the owner side, this is actually what an entry inspection looks like through Console Go Inspect. So I'm in the owner portal. Obviously, I've got multiple properties here. I'm just going to pick 48 Sandflex. Just need to move this bar out of the way. And I can come down here to activities, and I'm just going to review some of the inspections. So I'm going to go to this entry inspection that I did earlier in September. Come back to that. Actually, I will show you this. So, obviously, as part of the process, we generate the legislative view of an entry inspection. So this is kind of what it looks like. You can see what the property manager has put into the inspection, and then you can see what the tenant has said. And down the bottom, we have a link to the photos. So that ticks off your legislative requirements with your tenant. Probably the more interesting thing is, and we've been thinking a lot about how we can help you look really, stand out with your owners. Like, it's a big part of your business. Obviously, owners are very important. Oh, I keep doing that. Wrong button. It's this one. But what we've gone and built is a really nice web view of that inspection so that your owners can see, really high quality photos, as well as interact with the inspection report. And we think that's really important. We've got really good feedback from owners on just the professional layout that this report delivers. So this is the inspection. I can go in and look at, what my property manager's done. So I can see here that I'm in the bathroom. and it's got the comments, the status, and just really, nice photos that you can scroll through and, the owner can scroll through and look at. It's usually, this is the second biggest investment outside of their own property. So, being able to provide this kind of service is really valuable to them and something to help you stand out against other agencies when you're bidding for their business. You can see the tenant here as well. Now, anywhere where the tenant has disagreed with what the property manager has put, there'd be a comment and potentially some photos. And again, I can go through all the rooms in my house. Obviously, this is a really small house because when we demo this particular part of the system, we like to get through the tenancy part really quickly. I'm just going to go back into Acme. So that's the owner view. And now we're just going to go through a couple of other enhancements that we've made to the system. So the property page, obviously one of the really important pages in our system. It's the hub. It's where all the data gets collected. We've redesigned this screen this year, and you can see everything that is relevant to this property from here. And you can access everything that's relevant to this property from here. So there's a timeline of the property events. You can see the keys being checked out, any emails, inspections that have been done, or you can go and actually get those, scheduled inspections, maintenance, any files that I've attached to the property are here. Any forms that have been generated as part of a lease renewal, for example, will appear here. And as Court's already demonstrated, the notes. The other big release this year was our advertising workflow. So again, it's a really beautiful screen. It looks like the advertisement. So you can kind of get a bit of a feel for what that advertisement will look like, or that ad will look like on REA or Domain. You can update your inspections, the features, set your OFIs, and then you can publish this to the portals. So you can see here in my office, I'm linked with Web Choice, REA, and On the House. Domain is another option. And on request, we can also push an FTP file to your website. And this is where I update the status of these properties. So sorry, Em?
It's nice to make things so much easier with that status update. In such a fluid market right now, we've got things coming on and off so quickly. So having it all consolidated in here can really just help those background administrative tasks that can take up a lot of time.
Yeah, that's right. Look, we're trying to bring everything in the system. So everything connects. We have a real one system philosophy so that you don't have to have multiple, checklists, bits of paper, Trello, spreadsheets. We're bringing it all within the system. So it's a really important part of our process. And again, your feedback has been driving a lot of this innovation. Just on this page as well, you can see that I've got an active workflow for an application. So you're always being prompted about things to do. Our system is workflow driven. So that just means that, we're always trying to help you identify the next thing to do. You don't have to go to reports just to generate reports to tell you what to do. The system is informing you what to do throughout the process. Just before I go into workflows, a couple of other, nice little additions, just bringing some more tenancy information onto this page. And ownership information. And you can get to the tenancy card and the owner card from this page really quickly. Super handy. Obviously, compliance, a really big and topical thing, especially in Queensland at the moment, with the smoke alarm laws basically coming into effect from January. So, it's a big part of our consideration. Obviously, smoke alarms is something you can add through this process. And we've got smoke alarm partners coming online in 2022, just to really streamline this process. And I think that's probably a good segue to our compliance workflow. So again, guys, like you set it up at a property level, and the workflow takes care of the rest.
Just streamlines your whole process, automation.
Correct. So just on this, for example, this is a living list. I've got my automation settings down here that I can turn on and off. So, we always give you the options of managing things manually, or alternatively, you can turn automation off and just manage by exception. And this is a way, basically to save you time and give you more time back in your day to have, better relationships or better conversations with your owners and tenants. So how this actually works is at a property level, I nominate my compliance item. You can see in here, we've got different templates. So these are actually communication templates, all managed within the template system in Console Cloud. So you can maintain these, but sometimes the owner is responsible for a certain compliance item. Sometimes it's the body corporate. Sometimes it's your preferred tradie. And when you're setting that up at a property level, you actually nominate who's responsible, and then the system will make sure that the right communication goes to the right person at the right time, so that you're, discharging your compliance obligations to your owner. This is, again, Em just highlighted some of the changes we're making on our arrears workflow. These at-a-glances are something that you'll start to see more and more throughout the Console Cloud system. And they're basically little filters that you can click on. This one's really great because, as a principal, senior PM, I can come in and I can look at, from right to left being the most urgent things I need to address, to things that are coming up that I need to address.
And you can also filter by portfolio as well.
That's right. As a property manager, just to make sure I'm top of my portfolio, I can also filter by that. Now, this isn't just a notification system. Like, this is a really powerful workflow tool. And as reminders are being sent out and as activities are happening, everything's being logged on your timeline. So you just don't lose track of anything. You can go in and see this information. One thing that's not on here that appears on a lot of our communications is a read receipt. So you can confirm that the recipient has read it. And if you use one of our partners, and we'll be showing you the marketplace towards the end of this presentation, we will close this loop off fully digitally, which means that you won't have to come in here to do anything. You won't have to upload a compliance certificate, for example, which is an option in the system. Everything will be managed digitally. This will be a totally hands-free capability within your business.
That's really exciting.
I think a good thing to point out with the workflows as well is they're not just alone. So for our Queensland clients, when a compliance piece is happening or when a lease renewal is happening, it actually talks to the compliance. So when you've got a lease expiry coming up or a new lease coming up, and it's due to have its smoke alarms revisited, then that's where it's actually going to trigger off a compliance workflow for you as well. So you're not having to think about all the different tasks that you need to carry out. It's doing it all for you.
Okay, I'm just going to go into one of our oldest workflows. It was one of the first ones we released, and just some of the really exciting additions that we've made on this workflow. So again, you can see your at-a-glances, really key part of the workflow. Some of you will already have this on. You'll have your automation setting on, and this is a way that you can manage a lease renewal fully digitally. And it's like we put it on rails so that you only have to manage lease renewals that kind of fall off the track, pick them up and do something manual with them. And we know just from our data that most renewals will flow through, 50% of them will flow through without any, negotiation or too much stuff happening, get signed and renewed. And we're going to show you what that process looks like. So imagine if we can knock out 50% of your renewals just by automating that process. So it's just a little setting here. The requirements are to turn that setting on. You need an REI form subscription, or if you're in Victoria, you need a Forms Live subscription, and DocuSign. That's a key part of it as well. So I'm going to go to my property. Hopefully it's here. Yep. And for those of you who don't have automation turned on, this screen is going to look different. You're going to see a couple of little things. You're going to see some lease details up here. And you're going to see our console autopilot. Now, autopilot is the thing that drives it so that you don't have to do anything. I'm going to be, basically covering multiple personas. So I'll be in this, the property manager, the owner, and the tenant. And yeah, I'll get started. The first thing you need to do is obviously send that rent recommendation to your owner. So I'm going to make my rent recommendation. This is a trial account. So obviously my start dates are all a little bit wacky, but I'll push some of these things way into the future. I've done my CMA and I've done my analysis. And in this environment, I am making a recommendation to the owner to raise the rent by 200. Just going to make sure my start date's past my pay to date. And this is where some of the really clever smarts of cloud come in. So it knows this is a lease renewal. So I'm in Queensland. So this will respect all state-based requirements. So if you're In New South Wales, it'll pick up the right form. If you're in Victoria, it'll pick up the right form. WA, pick up the right form. If I've got any special conditions, so any templates that I set up on my REI forms, I can edit those in REI forms. I'm just going to use the base template. The sign-in agent is just for my DocuSign, so that when this completes, it'll come back to me. And as Em was just talking about, Cloud's smart enough to know that on this management agreement, I'm entitled to charge the owner a renewal fee. So it's driven by our fee engine. And because this is going to be a 12-month renewal, I'm going to untick that and take my 2-week renewal fee. So at the end of this process, this will happen automatically, meaning that you're not missing out on your lease renewal fees, and the system's just, basically taking care of you. So I'll just save that. This will kick me to REI. I don't have to do anything here other than finalize that form. Now, the reason you need to finalize it is just, you can no longer go and edit it now, because Console Cloud is going to pick that form up, and it's going to start a process where it sends the owner intention email to the owner with a copy of that lease agreement. And you can see that all the information is being written to the timeline as I do it. So if another property manager comes in here, they can pick that up directly from there. Now, if I didn't finalize that form, Cloud would stop me and say, hey, go back into REI and just finalize that form. But I'm going to click start because I've done it. And the owner intention email is going to kick off. So I can see that it's sent. I can see the automation started, and this timeline will continue to be updated. Yeah. And it's got me on the track. So I've received this as the owner. I'm just going to click this. And for you, everyone who's using the lease renewal workflow at the moment, you know what this little form is. Obviously, you've got control to control that email template. I'm going to click that to respond. Now, with the automation setting on, if they choose anything other than renew using the recommended rent in the email, you're alerted, and you have to take some kind of other activity. But I'm just going to click renew, and this will keep that workflow moving along. And I'm just going to submit that. And that'll now come back into Console Cloud, which is really cool. So there's my property, 6 Goodwin. I can see that the owner's renewed. So, it's just giving you little steps and little bits of insight, so you don't have to go into it all the time.
And you get your little bell notification as well.
Yeah, sorry, I've got my Zoom in the way, but it's just up here, getting my little notification, which is really handy. So what's happening now is that contract is being sent around to the tenants for their signing. And obviously we're leveraging the DocuSign. This is actually a multi-tenanted property, so we take care of the round robin email signatures for you. Just bear with me while I jump into my personal email to pick that up.
So does it send 2 separate emails to the tenants?
What it does is it'll send it to the first tenant, and then it will send it to the second tenant. And the second tenant will sign, and then it'll go to the third tenant. So yeah, this property is actually, I think I've got three tenants in there.
While Matt's doing that as well, I think some of the things that happen these days is tenants tend to get a little bit lazy with that return of those lease renewals. And so with this autopilot turned on, it's allowing you to take away that follow-up. So it's making sure that things are happening and things are moving. I can't tell you how many times I've spoken to agents lately, and just letting us know how long it takes for a tenant to actually get a lease renewal back, just because I suppose this market is so fluid and everything's happening, everything's moving. So again, it just takes away that admin time, and it takes away that hands-on constant follow-up. There's so much going on. I think we're all busy enough. We don't have to then spend extra time on admin.
All right, guys, you're going to have to take my word for it, but I've received the DocuSign. So now I'm just signing that lease agreement. So I'll start that agreement. I've signed it. And as I mentioned before, that agreement will now just be sent around to each of the tenants. Now, as they sign it, the system gets updated. We write the update to the timeline, which is really cool. And then when it's everybody signed, it will come back to me as the property manager to do the final signature, and the fees will be auto charged, and this lease renewal will disappear from your list. So yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't show you the whole end to end, but if you'd like a little bit more information, just ping it in the Q&A and we'll add you for some follow-up afterwards. I'm going to go into reports right now. Insights, because, this is like where you get to come back through. And I guess, people use reporting to audit things. They also use reporting just to understand the state of their business. So I'm going to go to the pro accounts. And I'm just starting with these ones first, Cord, if that's okay. These are our most powerful reports. These are the things that drive the performance of your business. So a couple of key ones here, rental rates. And what this report does, and I'm just going to bring it up, is that it is looking at your portfolio and it's just making sure that, you've captured all your fees, you've captured all your property health attributes, and it's going to give you a reading on whether you've got any properties that are under rented. So based on the rest of your portfolio, they may not be, at the market rate. You might want to just have a quick look at those properties, and they're also going to look at your commissions, and they're going to, highlight any of those properties where the commission rate might be a little bit lower than, other properties in your portfolio. So yeah, if you're using these reports, you'll have a fair understanding of some of the powerful filters that we've got down the right-hand side. But basically what this report's telling me is, hey, in your portfolio, Matt, you've got some properties that don't seem to have, they seem to be missing key information. And if they're missing that key information, like if you can get these numbers to zero, our reporting can give you really good insights, comparative insights into other properties that meet those attributes, and let you know if you've got properties with a low rental rate compared to other properties in your portfolio, or properties where you have a low commission rate. So I can come down here and I can actually interact with this tool. So I can click, my properties with no commission rate data, and the system will actually give me the list of those properties, so that I can now go into those properties and correct that or review. There might be a reason why I have no commissions. They might be, you might have some kind of arrangement or deal with those guys. The other one I can go and do, and what we recommend people do, is to click on this little green one. It's actually this purple one, the below average commissions, and actually just run through those and, really do an assessment of the health of your rent roll. And that's what these reports are designed to help you. PMs are working really hard. It's been really tough 12 months. We've got to make sure that we're getting paid for the work that we're doing.
And if you've got multiple offices as well, you can see that for each office. So not only as a holistic view, but also individually.
Thanks, Em. I'm going to take a chance and go into the next report. So this one is, I guess, just going around and talking to agencies. One of the things that became clear was, how can we provide you information and how you're performing against, I guess, other agencies or the rest of the market. So the benchmarking arrears report, it's a really big report, I will say that. But it actually compares your performance, your arrears management report performance against everyone else using Console Cloud. So you get a really good benchmark on how you're performing. You might think you're doing a really, really good job, and you might find that you're in the bottom quartile. And that's an opportunity to go and take some kind of action to ensure that, your arrears is, being better managed, and, I guess, make your owners happier. So I've got multiple properties in this setup. That's why sometimes multiple agencies. And basically what I can do is I can actually go and get my benchmark against other agencies that are similar to me. So I'm way down the bottom.
Not doing so well.
Yeah. So this is, it's not the best. I can look at how I'm performing in the state.
Not so well.
Yep. And I can look at specifically my portfolios. These are only my portfolios. They're not anyone else's portfolios, but it's just to give me an idea on where I can go and, improve my agency's performance in this space. So it's really, really, really critical. It's our, our dipping the toe in the water for the first time, just to see how we can help, basically make Console Cloud agencies the best agencies in market.
And who can see these reports, Matt? Is this available to everyone in the agency?
No, there's actually a pretty detailed user management process. So it's only super users. They need to be granted access by the administrator of the account. And this is probably our most powerful report. And again, it's a conversation starter within your agency. How can we improve our business? And what this is looking at, I'm going to start down the bottom. At a property level, at every property, it is looking at how much effort each property takes to manage. So we've got a little proprietary algorithm or formula that runs in the back, and it's looking at how many times are you touching that property, that tenant, that owner, how many maintenance items are there, how many manual things are you doing, and assigning a score, right? So it's saying like, I'm just going to hit this one because there are some properties that we regularly touch, and you can see that there's a really high work score on this particular property. Now that's great as long as I'm making a return on that property. So I'm just going to kind of shuffle to the right here. Let's get my little widget up. Or Em will get it up for me.
I think we've all got those as well that just feel like they're taking up all of our time.
Yeah, thanks, Em. So again, just going from left to right, it's a high work property and it's actually a low income property. So you can see we give it a classification, and basically uneconomic just means, hey, this is probably a property you might just want to look at and just see if it's meant to have these types of ratios. So it's probably got a low commission fee, no activity-based fees, so no petties, as some of my customers refer to them. And I'm doing a lot of work on that property. So again, it's just a conversation starter to go in and grade the health of my rent roll, especially if I'm a large or growing agency. I need to know which properties are costing me more than I'm making from them.
And Insights Pro, who is that available to, Matt?
Our premium users.
Awesome.
Yeah. So if you've got the premium the premium subscription in Console Cloud, you'll be able to access these reports. And again, reports is always something that we take your feedback and we look at. You can see there's a whole suite of reports here. So these are for your one-on-ones with your PMs, or if you're a PM and you just want to see your own performance, you can actually go into these reports and just see how you're tracking. And again, like really powerful filters that let you drill into, last month, the previous month, this month, so you can compare how you've been tracking over time. This is kind of my senior PM view. So I can actually just go through here and, I can have a conversation with Bob about why he is, probably costing me so much money because 100% of his properties are in arrears. So again, and you can drill in and look at the table view of that and have, individual conversations about different properties. Generally, as Em demonstrated a bit earlier, if you're on our arrears management workflow, it's been uber successful in driving those arrears numbers down. I'm going to show you just one more thing that Court brought up, or maybe Court, you might want to pick this up, but just our marketplace. We're really grateful to our partners who come on and integrate with Console. It gives it a really well-rounded product for you. And these integrations are really clever integrations. They've been designed in a way that mean that you don't have to duplicate, you don't have to cross key information.
No going between two different screens.
No going.
Cloud.
Correct. Yeah. And the philosophy is, we are here to save you time. And if we can save you time and give you back days in your week, we've been really successful. So we take that same approach with our partners.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we've got a couple of new partners that we've brought on here in this quarter, and I just want to highlight, where you can go and find these in the marketplace. Just heading back into the little presentation here now, you can see all of the partners that are currently live in cloud and who's coming up soon. So we do have a fair few new partners coming in the new calendar year that we're really excited to bring on, especially for our New Zealand clients as well. Just moving on, to cap off this webinar is we'd really like to talk about Console Awards. Now, we know that the past 18, 24 months has been really turbulent for a lot of our agencies and a lot of agencies across Australia and New Zealand. And we really want to take some time to give back to you guys, to support the innovation you have, brought into your agency, and, how that's translated into growth and being, future-proofing your business, essentially. So we have a total cash pool of $20,000 available and up for grabs. And we have that across 3 separate awards. So we have 2 awards to give away for the agencies. And the Excellence Award is a top prize of $10,000, which is no sum to smirk at. And this award really goes out to any agency who can demonstrate their commitment to innovation, particularly over the past 24 months, and how that's actually translated into growth. The Innovation Award, you don't have to show the growth aspect to that, but you really do need to demonstrate your commitment to innovation, how you've adopted new technologies, how you provided better experiences for your owners and tenants, and what's your secret sauce? What sets you apart? And of course, we would be absolutely remiss if we did not announce an award for the property manager. So we all know that the PM is the backbone to our agencies, and we really want to give back to you guys. So we do have a total prize of $5,000. It was $2,500, but we've upped that one to $5,000 to really give back to you guys. And this one really is an award nominated by your peers, by your owners and your tenants to showcase, how you've committed to, customer service, to giving a great experience, and to, really giving back and, I guess, future-proofing your agency. Now, the key things for you guys to note is the applications for round 1, which are written, close on the 22nd of December. So you have roughly 2 weeks to get those applications in. The submissions that we've seen so far have honestly been phenomenal. The level of detail that you guys have gone into, the stories about your agency and the references of your PMs it's really awesome to see, and just puts a big smile on all of our faces here at Console. So applications close 22nd of December. We will have the awards in March, so a little while away, but something to definitely look forward to in the new year coming up. If you just apply online at console.com.au/console awards, follow the little links to get started. You can start your application, come back to it at any time before the 22nd of December as well. So that, we know that it takes roughly about 2 hours to fill these ones out. So make sure that you are giving yourselves enough time to get those through. We really look forward to seeing all of your applications and giving back to you guys. Great.
Thanks, Court. I'll just go back just because we skipped a little bit that we wanted to. Yeah, just a couple of things for the new year, guys, that we're pretty excited about. We've got some new fee types coming in. Withholds. We've got some advanced filtering that I'll give you a sneak peek at. We are looking at how we can improve our current inbound email process. Again, something for the new year, and we're looking at how we can add, especially for our gateway clients. We've had a lot of feedback around custom data capture, how we can accommodate that in the new year.
Very exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I'll just give you a little sneak peek on, so you can see where some of the design is going. And this is really like part of our UX's design system vision. But these are our advanced filters. So this is, again, just a prototype, guys. It's a work in progress. It's not going to be released until next year, but we are working through giving you the ability to filter out along all of these items. So I'm just going to go to the next screen just so you can see the level of detail that you'll be able to filter on and the level of views that you'll be able to get. So just at an ownership level, like really deep set of filters, tenancy. So you can, really hone in on what you want to hone in on in the list pages of Console Cloud. It's been a key feedback item. We've taken our time to really think about how we can build this out to be really valuable to you. So pay to dates, rent, you can see all this type of information, review date, rent review dates. And obviously we've released categories this year, which is in the settings. And that will be another filter that you'll be able to go and, cross-tabulate your information. So you can see the data in a way that you want to see it.
So handy.
Guys, that's it from us. I'm going to turn our camera on. We're going to stay online for probably another 5 or 10 minutes. Look, it was a really whirlwind show. We've had 12 months worth of really great development. We hope you've been seeing the improvements in the system, as well as, taking advantage of all the powerful tools that we've been adding. And yeah, like if you have any questions, we'll be online for the next 10 or so minutes to address those questions. Court's got a little poll that she's going to run.
Absolutely.
And again, these things are things that are really important to us because we'll be reaching out to help you get the best out of Console Cloud.
Absolutely. So in the little Zoom tab that you have at the bottom, we do have a little poll running just on features of interest. So from everything that we have showcased to you guys today, we just wanted to ask you, what were you most interested in? We also have another poll as well, just to ask whether you're nominating for Console Awards. We really want to see all those applications come through, and we're really excited to announce the finalists when they come through in January. So give us some answers on the poll. We'd love to see them come through. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys. And we'll see you in the new year. Merry Christmas from the team at Console. We really appreciate your support over the last 12 months.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone.